Well, hey everybody, I got me a new tent, Alpine Mountain Gear 3-man tent, and we took it out last weekend but didn't have any rain, so I brought it back here, got it set back up, and it's been raining the last 2 days and pretty hard, so hopefully here when it actually stops raining in a day or two, I'll open this thing up and hope it's not wet inside. Pretty nice tent, pretty easy to set up. I mean, it looks pretty dry. A couple drips up on the mesh. I see a drip right here. Outside that looks pretty dry, at least for the fly. But won't know until we get finished testing this. I do like how it's got the bar holding the front out over the doorway. It is a one door. And the whole idea was me to get a tent that was actually big enough for me and the dog to go camping in. It does have extra tie outs. I didn't put those out. They're actually sagging a little bit from the water, so I did have it pretty tight. But yeah, overall it's pretty nice. I really don't see much. I see a couple more drips. You can see a drip right there on the rain fly. I don't know if that's on probably the center seam at the top. I bet that I can fix. And I got the tent at REI, one of their sales specials, $54. So not too bad. It was I think it was 120 originally, which isn't bad. It does have a pretty good flap over the zipper. Feels pretty dry underneath. That's for the window, so that's looking pretty good. And what I'm hoping is the seam along the bottom all the way around this thing doesn't leak. As you can see, the rain fly covers it on this side, but front and rear it doesn't. But yeah, I'll find any leaks, and like I said, I think we got one right up here in the top, which I'll just use some seam sealer and fix that. I was also worried about here where it's got this Velcro strap to hold on the pole. It's got another one at the bottom which I don't have attached. But yeah, what I'm hoping is this is completely waterproof. I want it completely waterproof either way. Even though a lot of times when I camp I do take a tarp with me anyway, because spend all your time in a tent's no fun. It's nice to have some cover outside the tent. But yeah, my buddy Hunter used this last weekend and he said there's plenty of room. He's over 6 foot, so that was a bonus. Means I'll fit in there because he's taller than me. But yeah, like I say, I'll come back in a couple days when the rain finally gives it up. I mean, it's been raining pretty hard. I actually had to support my awning because it was pooling up in there. And we've had water running down the site. The rain slowed down for a minute, so the river's not flowing through here as bad as it was. But yeah, I'm hoping quite a bit on this tent. Still not sure about these tie outs. The only thing I can think of is pulling them this way, but that Velcro is right under the tie out, and pulling them down just doesn't seem to do anything but maybe tighten the top a little bit. So we'll see. If I don't ever use them, I'll end up just removing the cordage from there. It has, you know, all 4 tie outs. I don't really see the sense in them at this point, but you never know. I can see the pole through there, right through there too. So yeah, it's getting pretty saturated, pretty dry underneath. Yeah, the only leak I got's up there at the top stitching. That'll be an easy fix. So we'll see. A couple days I'll come back and we'll have a look at the inside. Well, it's been like 8 or 9 days since last part of this clip. I ended up having to put a tarp up over my little kitchen area, but didn't really matter much for keeping this dry. But yeah, I figure it's time. There is no Velcro along there, but see if I can do this easy enough one-handed. Zipper's pretty clean, pretty easy to move. A little tight getting up under the fly, but all right. It's a little dirty from when we used it, but I can see a little wet there. And this is the downhill side, so a little wet there. So I think, yeah, the only leak I got's right up there on the rainfly, and it was probably just running down this one wall. Not bad at all. Don't see any evidence anywhere else of water. Not sure what these white stains are. Could be a water drip. Overall, I'm quite happy about it. A week of rain, and that's all I got is a little bit in the corner. Yeah. And yeah, where I saw that leak up here on the rainfly, I'll just go ahead and seam tape this whole area and be happy with it. Now I hope it stays dry enough for a while. I can dry the tent out, clean it out, and actually get it back in its storage bag. Yeah, I am gonna just remove these. These are the only reason I can see it, but you see it pulls the whole tent because the strap for the pole is right there. So I mean, don't really need it to hold down because you got it held down in the corners. Really easy to set up. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Definitely got to watch REI on their sale stuff. This was brand new, it wasn't used. I see it does have a power port, which I don't know how that works. Oh, it's Velcro, so it's sealed tight. You don't need it, you don't need it. Nice. So yeah, Alpine mountain gear. You could easily get 2 people, all their gear in here, no problem. And that way you wouldn't be up against the walls. But for me and the dog, this is gonna be perfect. One thing I do wish it had, only got one little bag here, storage bag, a little ring at the top to hang a light off of, but I wish it had like that caddy up there. That would be nice. Nowhere to hook one, so that's a bummer because I have a spare. Yeah, I'm impressed. The zippers work nice. Everything seems to be really decent. The tent itself, I can see seam tape along this, which is good. I'll have to get in there with a towel and dry that little bit of water out, but we've had really heavy rains for the last week, so I'm kind of happy with it. I'll be able to make this work. I mean, most of the time I'll be probably in dry weather anyway. Like I said, I almost always carry a tarp. That way I'm not spending all my time in the tent. I like to sit out in front, enjoy being outside. Tent's gonna be good for sleeping for me and the dog. I like it. Well, I figured I'd give you guys a short look. Yeah, it took me a week to make this whole video, but had to test her out. So now I got to dry her out, clean her out, put her back in its bag, which has a bag that fits in nicely. I did replace the tent stakes. They had shepherd hook stakes, and I replaced them with Y stakes. It did come with 8 of them, but obviously you only need 4. And it is a peg, just slips over the peg there, fly loops through the ring, and there's a loop of nylon here the stake goes through. So that makes that simple. And like I say here, it's got tied to the pole, which that one's not tight or anything. And then it's got another one, if you wanted to, down here, which I didn't do, but I may at some point, just to test it out. The hooks are nice. They work pretty good. The way the porch goes in, it's a little sleeve here and then goes into a hole here. I don't like the fact that it, you can see here, it's only one layer. This should be grommeted all the way through both layers, because it does have a stop on the post itself, you can see there. So I don't, it might wear on the strap at some point over time. And the only other thing I didn't like is the way this top hook doesn't really hook both bars. It can, you can see that it can, but it really just only hooks one, which is fine. It works. You do have to set the whole tent up and then the rain fly. It's not a tent you can do the rain fly first on, which that's fine. If it's pouring down rain, I'll set up a tarp first. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching this little bit of product video. I don't do a lot of them, but figured this one was a decent enough price worth talking about. And thanks for watching.